Greetings. I wanted to do a quick video about my experiences so far here. I was anticipating being out in the sticks somewhere, just because when I was in Arkansas, like Missouri and Arkansas, they're very fucking close to each other. And so I was at the border of Missouri, like one of the days, and we had like literally the dust bowl come through, and we couldn't actually finish doing our assessments because there was so much dust that the road was not traversable. And so didn't anticipate, because I don't be paying attention to the fucking news. I knew there was a tornado, but I didn't know where it was. I assumed that it was in a rural area. It was in the middle of motherfucking St. Louis. And there were some rural areas affected, but mostly it was St. Louis. And so I spent most of my time there, and it was an interesting experience because in my job, I'm providing kind of a service. It's customer service based, I would say. Not first and foremost. I need to, know about construction first and foremost, but I do need to know how to talk to people. And doing this job has helped me tremendously in knowing how to talk to people and convincing people that I'm not a scammer. That's one thing that I think that is like a backseat kind of thing that you don't really anticipate. You have to become extremely confident in the way that you're talking to people because people are constantly being scammed. People take advantage of people that have gone through disasters. When the world's at its worst, there are people that are fucking scumbags. People are up on their guard, as they should be. And so part of my job is being just extremely personable and confident and knowledgeable and kind of reading a person and providing for them what they need, which is a thing that, like, an assessment that you need to make rather quickly, probably within 5 to 10 seconds. You need to, you can be constantly kind of observing and taking in information, but you need to know your approach and know your audience. That's something that I have definitely developed in this job. And while I don't necessarily, I'm not really, making these videos for a particular audience. It's more me presenting myself because I feel like so much of my life I am catering to an audience. I feel like this is the only place where I get to just be me, mostly, or a fair approximation in a way that is more constructive than it is draining. So yeah, in doing my job, I talked to a lot of people, and I met some very interesting people out here in St. Louis. I talked to some people that have gone through some shit, and I don't know, some of the government officials, like the federal people, they're oddly, I don't know, really weirdly emotional, but also detached, where it just feels not entirely authentic how some of the people that I have spent time with interact with these disaster survivors. It rings hollow when you say, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't imagine something so horrible happening to me. I could only imagine what you're going through. It just doesn't always feel like they mean it. And maybe it's because it hurts. It hurts to see people in pain. And it's hard to pull that out of yourself constantly and give little pieces of yourself to other people. And so in interacting with disaster survivors, I try to be more like a neighbor, more like a friend. And that might be seen as maybe unprofessional, but I'm meeting people where they are. I'm talking to, like, in this neighborhood, it's all Black people. And so they were fucking elated to see me. And I was elated to see them because, like, it kind of, I don't know, builds on itself, this positivity of, pulling each other up. And so every time I talk to somebody, every time I impart some nugget of wisdom, I make them feel like, okay, this is doable, that there is help coming. Every time I do that, it like builds me up even stronger so that I can go to the next person and give a little bit more. And I don't know, something about that is just makes me feel nice. And I was actually on the news. I was on the fucking news like twice. And I'm not telling y'all what channel, but if you look, you can find it. I met one of the SEMA workers, and he was gushing about his daughter. He just like, it's always nice to see people talk about their children like they're people rather than like pets almost. You know what I'm saying. There's a difference between the people who make their life entirely about their kid and the people who just really vibe with their kid. Like their kid is their friend. And not just their friend like, oh, I'm the cool mom, I get let my kid drink and stuff. Not like that. Just deeply invested, not only in their success as people, but like invested in them as people, wanting to know about them, what makes them tick, not delineating, not telling them this is what makes you tick, but wanting to discover it, being open to it. That is fucking beautiful to see. And this guy was the embodiment of it. And it was really interesting to come across because this is like middle-aged white guy. He's like, I mean, he seems really cool. Like he seems like a cool ass white guy, but it was so much farther than that. It was like deeper than that. And I could tell that he was a person that was very contemplative. Like the moment he saw me, he was like, what kind of music do you listen to? And I automatically was like, well, what kind do you think that I listen to? Because whenever someone asks me like a question like that, they have some idea. They're thinking about something. And he said he was just curious. And at first I was like, well, no, you probably had an assumption in mind. You probably did, but I don't think so. I think it was more that he was just genuinely interested in knowing more about me, which is just really cool. And it wasn't until I talked to him more that I felt differently about him asking. I mean, it wasn't like a problem that he asked me what kind of music I like, but at first I thought he was making assumptions, but now I feel like he's just an extremely open person and extremely curious, and he'll just ask a fucking question. If he has a question, he's gonna ask it. And just very open to new things and knowledge. And you don't really meet a whole lot of people like that. My dad is very much like that, but he still has his preconceived notions and his prejudices, and I'm sure this guy does. But when talking to him, he was talking about his daughter and how phenomenal a person she was, and he talked about her being bisexual. She's 13, and he's telling us, like, it's like a series of people from the state, from like federal, doing like people that are doing disaster relief. And I don't know, growing up, a millennial, I guess, we experienced the big sad. There's a lot of pain. And I think like all the generational pain kind of hit us like a fucking wall. And we decided we didn't want to pass it on. I mean, invariably we will, because that's just how people work. But we saw it for what it was. And that there's a lot of work in that. There's a lot of fucking pain. There's a lot of trauma in that. Just the realization without even processing the trauma itself. And so I'm a person who, I don't talk about who I am. I don't go into that, especially not with people at work. Like at my job, it's mostly middle-aged to elderly people that I work with, and a lot of retirees, a lot of older guys, like construction workers. That is not a place to be a they, them that is attracted to men that look like women and women that look like men. Not so much. And so I didn't really get into it with him talking about like me personally being LGBT, but I feel like he knew. I feel like he clocked me a little bit. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how I came to this conclusion, because I talked to him later on. I actually asked him to call me when he got a chance, because I wanted to thank him for representing something that I have yet to see ever, like in person. A parent of an LGBTQ child who is not only unconditionally loving of their child, but also unconditionally supportive. It is so fucking wonderful to see him talk about his daughter, and then to get into, yeah, though there's a vibe. I was like, oh, a vibe, okay. And then he talks about, yeah, she likes pretty boys and she likes girls. I mean, it is what it is. It's just wild It's wild because the LGBT community is very much bereft of supportive parents. I think anywhere I can see it, I just gobble that shit up like ass on a Wednesday afternoon. I love to see a parent supporting their kid regardless of their sexuality and gender. And holy shit, the way that he did this, y'all, he loves this child so motherfucking much. And so I'm talking to him later, and he's definitely an extrovert, like in the way that he kind of carries himself. He's outgoing, but also it seems like he gets his energy from other people, but he also seems very, very interested in being by his fucking self. And I don't know, I just really, you can tell that I really connected with this dude. And I talked to him for like, I don't even remember, like 45 minutes maybe. We talked for a minute, and he sent me a picture of his daughter, and she's an adorable black girl. Wasn't expecting that. I don't know what in my mind, like, didn't prepare me for it, but it was a curveball for me. But now thinking back, the interactions that we were having when he walked up to me and asked me what kind of music I like, and then he gets into the type of music his daughter likes. She likes alternative music. She's into Green Day? A 13-year-old into fucking Green Day? And he is into also like alternative, and he gets her albums of the things that he likes, as well as, you know, stuff that she likes. So she likes Billie Eilish and stuff like that. But he gets her vinyls. He got her a record player. And so he's just a really fucking interesting dude. And his wife, she seems really fucking interesting too. And his daughter seems really, really goddamn interesting. Like, he was talking about her meditating. At 13, she's like practicing mindfulness, and she doesn't even know what she's doing. It's just that that's what she's doing. She's walking around in a circle, cutting herself from the rest of the world and just living in the moment. She doesn't realize what she's doing, but she's absolutely meditating. And talking to him, I thanked him for being a wonderful dad. And I wanted to say that he was doing a great job, because it means so much. So much to see a parent supporting. Because, like, love and support are two very different things. My husband absolutely loves me. I know that. And when I went to that award ceremony, he was very much in love with me. He still is. But when he told me that I shouldn't dress the way I dressed that day, that is not support. That is the opposite of fucking support. And so I'm a person that is keenly aware of the difference between love and support. And honestly, I don't think love is unconditional if support is conditional. There's no way to be a person who loves but withholds support and cherry picks the experiences they want to be a part of. I'm a bit jaded, but in seeing someone that unconditionally supports their kid, it brought me to tears over the phone with him. And he's talking about his upbringing and religion, and it's just wild how our different experiences can bring us to the same place. It's kind of fucking crazy. Like, he's a boomer. This dude is like on the cusp of being a millennial, but he's a boomer. To hear the things that he said, unfucking provoked, to me, blew me away, quite honestly. So he's talking about his daughter and noticing, I think she might be gay. I think I might have a gay ass kid. And telling his wife, like, don't be surprised when she comes out. I feel like it's coming. His wife being like, how do you know? Like, you can't know. Don't make assumptions. And not fucking, 7 to 8 years later, she comes out. And he embraces her with open arms. And so does his wife. They're just wonderful people. And so him saying all this stuff about his daughter and like knowing from afar, knowing like, this is who she is. I feel like he's just one of those people that's really good at reading people. And so, unprovoked, he starts talking about being trans. And I feel like I feel like he's clocking me a bit. Why'd you mention that? Your daughter's not trans. Why'd you say that? Do you fucking know me? When he started talking about trans people and accepting them and how it's always been around since the beginning of humankind. It's been a fucking concept. It's just different words that we used or not even used words for it at all because it just was. And he said it in a way that was like, it's okay. He said it like a dad. He talked to me like a dad. And that's what dads do. He's a good dad. And so that got me. And I feel like he knew. He knew. And it really meant a lot. It meant a lot. Wow. Yeah, I probably will end up talking to him more. He asked me where I got my pants from so that he could get a pair for his daughter. But yeah, this has been a really interesting trip. And it's pretty much half over. I still got a ways to go. I'm thinking about going kayaking. Definitely going to see my dad and my cousin tomorrow. And yeah, I just wanted to share that because, you know, I have epiphanies about every little thing that goes on in my life. And that was definitely one of them. And sometimes at pride events, especially like parades, you'll see on the sidelines, there'll be like random dads that will have signs up saying hugs from a supportive dad. This is what that was. It was a hug from a supportive dad. And it was really nice. And so if you have people in your life that you know, are kind of going through it because the world sees them as subhuman, it sees them as people that don't deserve the same rights as everyone, make sure you let them know that they matter. And you don't have to be a dad to do that. Just make sure you let them know. Because it can mean a lot more than you think. Yeah, the fact that this still has me crying probably means I have some more processing to do, but that is a task for future Finn. For now, I'm going to go to the gym and sweat out some of this pent up emotion. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.